Hello and welcome to the Harp Masterclass for the YouTube Symphony Orchestra. I'm Karen Vaughan. I've been co-principal harpist of the London Symphony Orchestra for 26 years and I've been asked to guide you through the orchestral excerpts for your audition for the YouTube Symphony Orchestra. I'm not going to talk about the solo piece, the Handel Harp Concerto, but about the orchestral excerpts. And it is necessary to play a pedal harp to do these excerpts because there is actually a lot of key changing. The first thing I'm going to show you is the cadenza for Swan Lake. And this sets the scene for the lovely pas de deux between the swan and the prince in Act 2. It's very typical harp cadenza with chords and arpeggios. The first 6 measures are actually conducted, so you have to play those in time, and after that you can be free. I thought I would show you the pedal setting for the beginning and then count you in to when you actually start playing the harp. On the left-hand side of the harp we've got D natural, C flat, B natural, and on the right E natural, F sharp, G natural and A flat. The first bar is in 4, but the woodwind are playing on the offbeats. So if I just count at first, I think you'll get the idea. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and then the harp starts. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, this chord is very much easier to play if you use the F sharp instead of a G flat, and then it just feels like a dominant 7th. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. As with all arpeggios like this, you need to practice them in chunks. And the other way I find very useful is to practice just the thumbs, because if you know where your thumbs are going, you can feel the pattern underneath. So the thumbs would be. At this point, the cadenza starts in earnest, and it's very similar to the Nutcracker cadenza or the Sleeping Beauty cadenza, which were originally written in contrary motion, but Zabel told Tchaikovsky it would be far more effective for the left hand to just copy the right hand, and then you get this lovely rippling effect. Then there are chords, which if you think of in 4/4, you can get some shape to the phrase. And by the way, this section, all these chords, is quite often missed out if you're playing the complete ballet. But in the suite, they usually expect to hear them. So if you think you've got to the bottom on 1, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. The next section is my favourite bit because in the ballet, the ballerina, the swan, having been running around the stage, now stops and turns very seductively to the prince and does this with her wing. And it's a very expressive moment. Each of these arpeggios needs to get closer together. So we start going up to D, then to E flat, then to E, then to F. And may I just give you a tip for getting a nice even spread on your chords or things like this. Start with the left hand and just play the fourth finger. Then play 4 and 3, then 4, 3, 2, and then eventually all of them. And then just add one finger at a time in the right hand. So and then you'll get a nice even chord or spread like this. Or C, you can play D or C at the top. Now some people don't like ending up with their right hand so low at the bottom of the harp, so you can, if you like, double one of those groups. You can go and then start again. Then these are all spaced out even more again, because this leads into the duet with the violin. Now, the Force of Destiny overture is very frequently asked for at auditions. And the opera here is an instance of Verdi using the harp very sparingly. There are 2 harps in the overture, and then the second harp can go home, the first harp can have dinner, and come back for Act 4 for one aria, the Parce Parce aria, which is notoriously pedally. It's got 60 pedal changes in the space of one aria. The audition section that you've been asked for, it starts at letter G and follows a whole page of rests for the harp. You have to come in cold on this music. And the page of rest ends with 3 little lonely solos, first for the clarinet, then the oboe, and then the flute. Now, the conductor either conducts this in 2 or in 4. It's nice if they start you off in 4, and the clarinet has an upbeat. The harps are just accompanying a clarinet solo. It's a chordal accompaniment. The second harp plays just the chords, and the first harp plays triplets. You need to know the clarinet part for this so that you know what you're accompanying, so that you understand where the clarinetist breathes, because you've just got continuous triplets. So the first harp is playing the triplets. Etc. I suggest that, as with all chordal things, you practice this in chunks first and quite slowly so that you're familiar with what's happening. So if you practice each of the 4 beats like this, 1, 2, then the left hand can help out, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Carries on in E major, which is not a very nice key for the harp. Make sure you tune your harp well for your audition. And then we come to another very pedally bit. There are 19 pedals in the space of a few bars here. So I suggest that obviously you're going to learn the chords. And it's also a very good idea to just practice the pedals on their own. And you can either sing the clarinet part while you move the pedals, which I don't think I should subject you to that, or just count and say the pedals. So when you come to the 9th bar, we've got E sharp, B sharp, E, natural, A sharp, B natural, A natural, and then you do the chords. etc. 2 bars later, you have a group of 6 notes which are all written in the right hand, but you can take the first 2 with the left hand like this. So these with the left hand. Now, F double sharp doesn't exist on the harp, so you have to use a G natural there. Then the left hand can help out here. Now, in this place, there is too big a gap for you to jump, so I suggest that you just take 2 notes with the left hand and don't worry about the octave, because the second harp is playing that octave for you. So if you just go, I'm now going to play it at what I think is a good tempo. From half note is 69 to half note is 80. Thank you for listening. I hope these tips are going to be helpful in your audition, and I look forward to hearing your clips on YouTube.